so we started out yesterday with how to do buildings in 1-point perspective. So here is my vanishing point. It's on the horizon line. It doesn't necessarily have to be, in the middle of the page or at one side of the page. Depends on what you're going for. But it always needs to be on the horizon line. We started with the rectangle. Everything on the front is like you're looking straight at it. Everything on the side goes to the vanishing point, the top and the bottom. So you can kind of use your finger or use your ruler to look and see how it connects to the vanishing point. So we're going to add some more detail today so you can draw along with. You should have at least 5 buildings on here by now. So to do something maybe I want an awning. So let's see, this is the side of my awning. It's going to be a little smaller than the one over here. But the top of it is going to go to the vanishing point, and the bottom of it is going to go to the vanishing point. So it's going to show me how much smaller it's going to get as it goes back in space. Whatever angle the front is, the back's going to be the same angle. And when you go to shade these later, you already know how to shade geometric forms. So it's the same idea, right? This is like shading a box. If the sun is coming from this way, everything on this side is going to be a little bit darker. All right. So next, to do a sidewalk. Think about how wide it would be in relationship to what you already have. If this is a door, maybe a door is 8 feet tall, your sidewalk's probably not going to be this wide if the door is this tall. So think about, kind of normal relative size of things for what you're going for. Make my sidewalk a little wide so I have room for some umbrellas and maybe some palm trees. Okay, so there's my sidewalk. This edge of it comes off the vanishing point, so it gets smaller as it goes back into space. And then I have a second line for the edge of the curb. Okay, so there's my sidewalk, my curb. The lines in the sidewalk, however, are going to be perfectly horizontal. So line up your edge of the ruler with the edge of your paper to make sure your lines are horizontal or parallel to the horizon. Like that. Go ahead and do that. Add your lines in your sidewalk. Make sure they're all perfectly horizontal. If they're slanted, it looks like your sidewalk is tippy, and then whoever's walking down the sidewalk is just going to fall in the street. So make sure your lines are perfectly horizontal. As you go back in space, they're going to get a little closer together too. Put your lines in your sidewalk. On the front, if the sidewalk is on this side as well, this line would be horizontal. Might be a curb on that side too, probably. And then the lines here, you want them to project out at you though, on the front side. So those are going to come off the vanishing point. I'll line my ruler up my vanishing point. And those lines are going to come out like that. All right, next, for the street, the lines in the street, So they're going to come off the vanishing point. If you want to have a car or a bus or anything like that, it's going to be like drawing a box for the basic shape of it, connecting it back, and then adding the details to make it look like a car. Maybe you want a sidewalk on the other side. Maybe you want a boardwalk or a beach or something. That would also come off the vanishing point. Make it into a boardwalk or something. And then lastly, to make a row of something that's going to go back into space, I'm going to add some trees. But it could also be, or you could do street lamps. So think about how tall your tree would be compared to your building. I'm going to do palm trees. So either way, the trunk is going to be a vertical. Think about the texture. Maybe it's going to be like a pine tree or like a deciduous tree. You have to do the same kind of tree. But the idea is the row of trees or street lamps or whatever it is, if it's a row and they're all planted at the same time, the top and the bottom would diminish evenly. So to figure out where the tops and the bottoms are going to be, take your ruler, connect it from the bottom of the first one back to the vanishing point, and then the top as well. And same thing if this were street lamps or if it were a fence. So I've got I'm going to erase this eventually, but I'm going to make it a little darker so you can see it. So I took a line to the top of my tree or street lamp or fence post and to the bottom. And that's going to tell me how much smaller, at what rate they're going to get smaller as they go back in space. But you want it to be perfectly vertical. So if you're going to put the next one in your row, start by making a perfectly vertical line. If it's slanted, it's not right. Okay, so there's my next vertical. And then I can make the trunk or the base of the street lamp or whatever it's going to be. And then as your objects get back into space, they get a little less detailed. As you can see more detail in what's closer to you. And the next one, again, the bottom and the top, it's still a vertical, but that shows me where the top and the bottom are going to be. And back here, still vertical, but it's smaller. It's going to get a little less detailed. It's further away. Okay, so, and if there's other things you want to know how to do, let me know, and I can help you try to figure that out. If I have something back here on the horizon, it's going to be like you're looking straight at it. Like maybe I have mountains back there, or maybe I have, if this is Miami Beach, maybe I have like the city skyline of Miami in the background. Or if it was Denver, if it was Colorado, maybe I'd have the mountains in the background on the skyline. If something's back on the skyline, it's just like you're looking straight at it. But it might be a little bit paler and hazier. And then you can go back and add some more details, but that's the gist of the idea.